Can you see that picture? Can you see what I'm seeing? Okay? It says Annie's back, a 42-year-old woman in Beverly Hills. And it also says in her profile, entering the lesbian something, no men allowed, lesbian vector, basically, don't try to push your shit on me, before you even try to talk to me, right? And this is what she said to me. I do admit you're a kind man, but I also know you enjoy women. There's no crime in that, friend. You have an interesting name and profile, so I'm sure you do well. And at 6'3" and athletic, I know you're quite the stud for straight and bi women. I do appreciate that you simply accept my sexuality without pushing your sexuality and normal sexual desires onto me, Annie. And I reply by the following. This is kind of funny. I think it's actually really, really cool, okay? Uh, yeah, let me get this down a little bit so you can't see the picture that proves what I say. Says, I knew it. 4 exclamation marks. I didn't want to take the time to say, I bet you're exquisitely beautiful, which makes people hate you before they even know you. Or being hot as fuck and being black, laugh out loud, you were screwed online. Because until peeps get to know you, you're a threat to pretty much everyone in the room. How so? You realize how many people secretly fear and sometimes even hate brothers and sisters. I should have capitalized those. You know how sometimes people cross the street when brothers are walking towards them? Or that feeling when you walk into a room, wondering who's going to be real and who's going to be fake? I know all of this because, in reality, I'm a brother trapped in white skin. Actually, Mike Perino. Mike Perino, senior stud O tackle at Notre Dame, said that about me. In many ways, let me get to this right here. I was actually accepted by the brothers who played outside linebacker there. I put OLB. Outside linebacker, laugh out loud. White boys playing that position, you realize how rare that is? If I'm right, you might not even like football because you realize what a combat sport it truly is, how many brothers have gotten fucked over by coaches all around the country, used like slaves. Plug in Dan Quinn's Notre Dame play, or have one of your friends who actually likes football do it on YouTube. See me make an LT-like play at Notre Dame, 4th and inches, goal line. I catch a brother diving for a TD from the outside linebacker position. Spectacular. Did I get fired immediately for it? Laugh out loud. What would happen to a slave? Why, I immediately quit football for boxing. Took 2 years to win a state title in Florida in the Golden Gloves. ... Listen, I'm the best thing that could ever happen, not only to lesbians, but to everyone ostracized and secretly discriminated in supposedly fair and liberal America. Reason? I discovered that stevia and weed together can make everyone's body actually outperform or perform better at 43 than it did back in their 20s. No joke. See how lean and ripped I am, fighting Rick Vardell last Saturday by plugging in Dan Quinn versus Rick Vardell at YouTube. Realize he's 280 pounds of solid steroid muscle, and Rick, no big deal. You use steroids. It was on an Indian reservation. I use stevia and weed. It's all cool. You're cool. You're a stud. I think if I didn't put all this. This is an addendum. But I think that if I actually gave you the same attention that I gave to Scott Smith, that we could turn you into one formidable motherfucker, and you could probably do the same thing to Cain Velasquez, perhaps, that he just did to Brock Lesnar. Anyways, realize he's 280 pounds of solid muscle and 205 pounds of lean and ripped up nature at 43. I wasn't hurt when they stopped the fight, ... Anyway, point being, eventually, I'm going to be filthy rich. How so? Get a $10 ounce of pure stevia at Trader Joe's. Then, if you know anyone who's done cocaine, have them snort a fat line. It'll wire them up stronger and longer than cocaine ever would. Addendum. Ever would. Stevia just freed everyone outside prison who's addicted to cocaine or crack from having to go to prison. They switched from expensive illegal substances to legal cheap stevia. Eventually, we get an attorney to sue the U.S. government for conflict. FDA seizing and arresting stevia, outlawing it in U.S., while DEA local law arrests for what it replaces. I don't want to write a thesis, so I'll begin to cap this. Have you heard about women who can't orgasm due to sexual abuse? Many lesbians aren't born, are they? As opposed to asshole men sexually abusing them, so they have mucho difficulty getting to an orgasm. Straights too. I should have added one more O. Like Chris, whose previous record was 2 orgasms in 2 hours. Playing violin on her, she lost count, became exhausted from having so many, just by pressing down on the belly between the button and the bone while you simultaneously press up on the G-spot, and then massaging. Simple. Turning G-spot into the yin and yang, pressing on both dots, massaging. Women can visit the fountain of orgasm. No joke. Mario in NorCal chat played it on Tracy from Modesto, and she had 6 orgasms in 4 minutes. They didn't tell me how long they played. I didn't ask. Just extrapolated his results. Had he played for 2 hours, like I did Chris, she would have had 90 orgasmic feelings over and over. No joke. I'm going to do a YouTube vid, then go to sleep. Everything I've said is true and easily proven. Like if you got a cancerous and almost dead elderly cat or human, I could bring them both back into perfect health. I've already done this with a cat who went from better off dead at 17 to Garfield looking at exploring outside at night to the point I told my mom to shut the cat door. I should have added health, so she wouldn't get injured. At 19, her owner stopped the good liquid and started giving tap water to the cat. It died within 3 to 4 weeks. Startlingly fast. Proof water is actually hazardous to your health, no matter where you get it or how much you spend for it. I can only imagine the shit you've taken over the years for being fine, black, and not wanting a man's cock anywhere near you. Laugh out loud. I voted for Obama, realizing that the Nazis threw the election by selecting Sarah Palin to run with an idiot who crashed 2 or 3 airplanes, yet was allowed to continue to fly because his daddy was an admiral, when probably hella brothers and sisters and even poor non-white peeps could have done a better job and saved the taxpayers millions of dollars in negligence. Obama, he's being scuttled. The rich, like the Bushes, whose grandpa donated to Hitler, don't want anything good to happen to the poor. Hopefully, what I've written will inflame your mind with curiosity. I think you'll validate the 2 miracles I described, stevia and the violin. And, in closing, how cool would it be, from my standpoint, to do a hot bi woman with a hot as fuck lesbian, such as yourself? Not hitting on you, girl, so I could cross another one off my bucket list that I just added to when that spectacular thought crossed my mind. Laugh out loud. And no, that wasn't hitting on you. That was saying I wonder if it's ever been done, and if it has or hasn't, I want to experience that before I die. And I will not once try to swerve myself into the lesbian's pee with my tongue or anything else. ... Although the violin makes it so, I would take gold at the Lesbian Oral Olympics. Perhaps an idea to raise money for charity? Laugh out loud. Think of the social implications and all of this hysterical fun and laughter that everyone could have at no one's expense. Oh, and that pic I attached? I was invited to play at the Dozens with my black outside linebacker friends at Notre Dame. It surprised the hell out of me, which was their intention at first, having fun in a good way at no one's expense, the way it should be for everyone on this planet, no matter color or sex. And you know what, girl? In the background, you hear Cinderella Man. And funny thing, I'm going to do a video to Frank Fernandez saying that he could actually help turn me into Cinderella Man. No shit. You know what? If I did as well as I did against Rick Bardell, I think there is no doubt that I would mop everyone up at 205, okay? If I could actually get down to 185 using stevia to power me and to also make it so I'm not really hungry, the more stevia you use, even if you use copious amounts of marijuana, you don't really feel like eating. I have to force myself. Anyways, so yeah, it's, I'll tell you what, this video right here, hopefully Annie will hear about it, okay? And if she does, and freely, a chubby lesbian in NorCal chat, if she says, you know what, he's called me many things, it's tone of voice, okay? When I said that it's actually funny that you're a chubby lesbian that's giving me shit, and I eat pussy a lot better than you do. Oh, and the stevia thing would make you perhaps leaner and more ripped than you never were, just like me when I was back then, right? Did that explain it? It wasn't said in a mean voice. It was said like in a quizzical, like, wake the fuck up, wait. Beep. Now, I could have said bitch. I could have said the C word, many things. And you know what? I've said them all. And if I did, I felt that they were valid and, applicable. Anyways, point being, I'm not here to, I was about to say make friends, but that's not really true, okay? What I'm here to do is get Stevia famous because it'll save basically this planet, okay? Because it blends water into a healthy fuel. And I'm going to say this in my other video too, but most people don't realize that Dan Quinn is a genius, okay? He had an IQ of 154, and at the age of 8, he saw mice population explode inside a cage and turn from nice animals into ravenous human acting like beings, raping, pillaging, murdering. Oh, it was grotesque. And I knew it was due to lack of space. I thought, wow, inner city ghettos all around the country because the rich don't do anything to help anybody but themselves. Unlike in China or other places where they do a lot more social activities to keep people occupied, right? Or do they? Is it just a fucking scam? I know they do in Japan because their population is so. Anyways, it's so dense they have to do things to keep people occupied. Okay. In America, it's a different game. What they want to do is keep the population down. So what they do is they devise these games that basically turn people into enemies and shit. Fighting and kill. Well, when I say people, Annie, what I mean is basically men. Okay. If I was to break down the problems that plague this planet, it would certainly stem directly from men and their control of it. And I wonder how many lesbians are aware that there are ancient relics available for view. My ex-wife wrote a paper to graduate Sac State that said women used to be in charge of the human herd, okay? Back before spaceships. Put it like this. If there aren't any lesbians who think there are actually aliens out there, then I'm way fucked up, okay? And since if you Googled were pyramids, P-O-U-R-E-D, that's poured, for those of you trying to figure that out, and then talking shit on me about kicking my ass when you're a genetic defect and too stupid to fucking even know better than to snort stevia. Anyways, yeah, too perfect. I knew it when I was 8. Oh, and at 8, I had that thought, and I told Craig Tusher, who went to Stanford, or no, he didn't go to Stanford. He went to Princeton, okay? And he had an IQ of something, had an SAT of 1600, and now he's like a $110 million guy. Anyways, I told him about the mice experiment, and then when he was at Princeton, they spent $35 million validating my thoughts. So I'm wondering if we shouldn't get an attorney to actually sue Princeton University for plagiarizing Dan Quinn's thought that he brilliantly fucking had. Did I say that correctly? Brilliantly. Did I fuck it up again? Damn! Uh, that's because my mouth is dry, not because I've taken too many punches. Yeah, 8, and that might be some money in it for me. Anyways, and what I do, Annie, is use all profit from what I just said to actually try and make things fair. Seriously, I think it's incredible that men are allowed to rape and then return into society. I think that once that happens, they should be castrated and done for. And you know what? That might not even be the end of the problem, but people would know, correct? And you know what? What I'll do is make movies showing Pulp Fiction type scenarios, luring rapists and child molesters into situations that will eventually stop that from happening all across America when copycats start to happen.